Hi, everyone. My name is Yale. I'm the founder and CEO of ThinkImpact. We're a marketing company based out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. And today our guest is Mr. Andy Appleby, the founder and CEO of General Sports Entertainment and the United Shore Professional Baseball League. Mr. Appleby, I appreciate you joining and accommodating our interview today.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
And just to set the stage and let everyone know, I actually used to be an intern and work for Mr. Appleby at General Sports Entertainment. So that's kind of how we know each other, and great to have you on. So the format, Mr. Appleby, is I have some questions, and then the people that will be tuning in, they might be asking some questions as well, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
All right, great. The first question that I had was, what prompted you to pursue a career within the sports and entertainment field?
Well, Tej, I grew up in New England, always wanted to be GM of the Red Sox, like most kids there. Always loved sports, always loved watching sports. And I just thought, what a great thing if I could actually make my career in sports. And, I got my master's degree in sports management from a place called Springfield College, which was the birthplace of basketball, Naismith, the Hall of Fame, and then shot the resume to basically all the major sports teams. The best offer came from the Detroit Pistons in the sense that they were building a new arena up the street, and I just figured that, hey, there'll be lots and lots of opportunities there. And, but I have to say that although it was certainly a deciding factor coming here, having, being able to have a business card with a professional sports team on it, it was, it was really not what people think, that I was sort of foreseeing the future, that the Pistons would turn into some great basketball team and win championships. In fact, when I first got there, I think we started out that first season like 2-8 or 2-10 or something like that. So it wasn't until really like the likes of Dennis Rodman got onto the court and started to really lift the team. And the team kind of really came together even that first year. So it really was, well, first of all, it was such a great place to work and be a part of. And it was sort of like getting a PhD in sports management during those years, starting the Pistons or starting the Palace. And then, being part of 2 championship teams and winning 2 rings and all of that. It was just a remarkable experience.
That's great. So that's a great segue to the next question that I had. Obviously, Palace Sports was a great organization with the brand that they were able to develop. So what prompted you to leave the Palace and find General Sports Entertainment? And then also what would go on to be the United Shore Professional Baseball League?
Yeah, great questions. It wasn't as if I was some born entrepreneur to leave the Pistons, but I just thought, I was very lucky to be there at the beginning of really the whole modern day era of sports marketing and sports management. And I give Tom Wilson, our CEO back then, and David Stern a lot of credit for being kind of the father of modern day team sports marketing, and then of course modern day sports marketing and management, which was David Stern. And so I was able to be promoted several times and really got to a point where there really wasn't much upward mobility at the Palace. And I also thought that the only way I would really leave that organization was to at least try to build that next great company. And so that's really was the driving force behind leaving. But it's hard to believe it's been 22 years. I think of all the memories of the first 12 years with the Pistons and Palace. Boy, to think that it's been almost double the time that I've been having our own company is really amazing. The years really fly by. Starting the USPBL was something a little bit different. That was many years in the making. I call it a 10 or 15-year overnight success, because people think that it was just I woke up one day, but it was really the culmination of many, many years of planning and finding a way to do this. And so it was it's been remarkable the way it's all turned out. But for me, it gave me a chance to use every good idea that I've seen or done on the marketing, the sales, even the design of the stadium itself. And so it's been a great story, and it's really been, for me, was kind of the culmination of the first half of my career, where again I had a chance to use all the good ideas that I've seen or done, and the result of which is, I don't think there's a finer ballpark in America. There's lots of ballparks even being built today that are some cases 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times the cost of what our ballpark was. And I literally wouldn't trade our ballpark for any of them. It's that cool and that nice and that functional. Now, of course, I'm sure one of your next questions is going to be where are you going from here? And it's a big challenge, this COVID-19 virus. It's, there's no one that could have predicted or planned this. And it's a huge challenge for us. We're hoping that because we're outside during the summer, that we'll be able to have a season. We're confident we will, but we just aren't sure what we'll be allowed to do from the state and local and federal health officials. But if there's any sport that could do it, it's us, because we are very controlled. We don't have teams traveling. We've got real young kids playing that are super healthy kids at the prime of their life. But even then, we may have to do some level of social distancing. But it's been a very challenging time, because from a business perspective, it's really hard to lose a season, because we really only have 4 months a year to make money. And so doesn't mean that we're not working 24/7 around the year to fill up for that season, but we really need those games to be played in order to be able to utilize that revenue.
Yeah, I know one of the big things that your league specializes in is bringing in talent. And obviously, most of the minor club systems and the affiliates are experiencing some hardships. And I know that you bring in a lot of those prospects in. So is there something that you and your team at the ballpark are doing to focus on that? Or how are you able to sustain the talent attraction that you're able to bring in to the league as a whole?
From the player perspective?
Yeah.
Well, that is probably the least of our concerns, because, of course, with college sports and college baseball not being played this season, we have a tremendous amount of talent that is looking for opportunities. So we probably have 2 or 3 times the applications of players that want to play in our league, because there's really no place to play. And so we've been pretty fortunate that that would probably be the least of our concerns, Tesh.
Okay, sounds good. And going back to general sports and then the ballpark as a whole, what were some of the challenges that you faced early on after leaving an organization like the Palace to form your own company? What were some of the challenges, and how did you overcome them?
Well, lots of challenges, because you don't have a cast of thousands to help you. When you write out a business plan and you leave at 5 o'clock on a Friday night, on Monday your pencil is in the same exact spot as it was. And so that was a big adjustment for me. I mean, I shouldn't say a big adjustment, but nevertheless an adjustment, just because, you know, you had to do pretty much everything yourself. And, you know, there's a lot to be said of having a team. I did have a team in place, though, so we had maybe 4 or 5 executives that joined me from various industries, and a really good assistant at that time. So it's not like I was alone in the office, but, you know, just challenges, everyday challenges of, you know, building a business and, you know, continuing to build relationships.
Yeah. And is there a specific strategy that General Sports follows, like what I like to call as a crisis management strategy, in terms of specific procedures that you guys follow, say, during times like these, where you have unforeseen circumstances, and how does that look?
You know, not really, Tej. I mean, we just try to react to the best way we know how. I don't think anyone could write the book on this COVID thing, but we've been through 9/11. We've been through the big financial crisis in 2008. So, you know, we've been through a lot of different things. This is probably the worst because it really affects our livelihood if somehow, some way we can't play our games this summer. But you know, it's there's no real silver bullet on this.
Yeah. Okay. And then some vendors within the ballpark. I know obviously Jimmy John's is a major sponsor, but other vendors within the ballpark, how are you able to sustain like T-shirt vendors or like different vendors that you have in addition to the already difficulty in kind of managing your team as a whole, these vendors during these difficult times, and how are you all able to sustain that?
Well, it's really hard. And, you know, I mean, obviously if we don't play the games, then, you know, we're not able to hire those 400 part-time workers, the game day associates that we have. So it'll be a pretty good sized impact on the region and the community. Of course, we help all the businesses thrive in the Utica and Macomb area because, you know, if you've ever been to one of our game days, it's a very electric atmosphere, and the restaurants are full, and you know, the property values, I think, have gone up considerably since we've been there. So and the other big problem is that, you know, we've been able to, for myself, we've not only done well financially, but we've been able to do a lot of good, not just creating all those jobs, but we've also had over 1,000 charities the last 2 summers leverage the ballpark to raise money, and that'll be a tough consequence of this if we're not able to play also. So a lot of things are affected negatively if we're not able to play, let alone the fact that we provide, you know, wonderful family fun, affordable entertainment. And you know, the good news for us would be is if we could solve this crisis somehow, either with an antiviral or a kind of a surefire vaccine. Hard to know if we'll be able to do that in the next couple of months. But if we are able to, you know, we could still experience our best year ever because, I mean, everybody wants to get out and do something. You know, we can't be trapped in our homes that much longer.
Yeah, sounds good. I have a couple more questions, but I wanted to open it up, if that's okay with you, for some more questions.
Sure.
For those that have tuned in.
Okay.
Hi, Andy. I had a quick question. In any business format, you always look at what if situations from a quarterly basis or things like that. What if it doesn't get back to norm, so to speak? In your case, probably it is the season-wise and things like that. What do you see if this season is lost, so to speak? I hope it doesn't happen because we all want to have sports, but hypothetically, I mean, the worst thing, the season is closed, and let's say everybody's saying before the vaccines are provided, there may be a lockdown, like LA is putting a lockdown till 21 or something with no sports and things like that. If that happens, what do you think, or what is your forecast in terms of sustainability and things like that?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, and one that we're kind of wrestling with right now. We're not putting all our thoughts behind it, because most of our thoughts are, let's play, let's find a way to social distance, let's find a way to segregate our ballpark, let's still find a way to play. But, you know, should we not play, it'd be a real devastating blow to our financials, obviously, because, you know, you carry a whole staff of people for 8 months to be able to play games. If we did not play this season, we'd be talking, you know, 20 months until we can, you know, utilize that revenue that we've created. So, you know, again, hopefully we don't have to come to that. If we do, you know, we may have to furlough workers, et cetera, because, you know, not many businesses on earth can go 20 months without revenue.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we can, by the way, just because, you know, we privately funded this ballpark, and, you know, we don't have any choice but to be successful. So it's not as if, you know, we won't survive. We will definitely survive. It's just going to be a challenge.
Would there be some sort of a relief from the MLB and things like that for tier 2, tier 3 teams like yourself, or is it completely alienated from that? Or
Well,
I mean, I have no idea how it works.
It's a great question. We'd certainly would be hoping for funds to offset our challenges, but, you know, it's not anything that we can bank on right now.
No, thanks for elaborating on that. Thank you.
No problem.
So do you think with the current business climate, the way that it is, that going forward, post-COVID, that it will significantly cause you and your team to change your business revenue model from a business standpoint?
I don't think it'll do that, because although, you know, clearly, you know, we would hope that things get back to normal before long, because, you know, up until now, the best thing that anyone like myself could ever see is a crowd, you know, with every seat full. And I mean, there's just nothing better than that. You know, now people see that as the antithesis of what it should be. But, you know, hopefully we can get back to normal. If we don't, then we will have issues, because, you know, it's kind of hard to survive with a half full stadium every night.
So for someone that is looking to pursue a career in sports marketing or branding within the sports and entertainment field, what advice would you give to them in terms of exploring job opportunities and taking that route?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's not dissimilar to the old days where, you know, you have to get your name out in front of as many people as possible. You still have to do a lot of that legwork and work hard. And internships still remain the best, because it gives you real life experience and something to put on your resume, and potentially, you know, recommendation letters. So, you know, I like the internship route mostly because it can tell you if you don't want to do something as well, because, you know, some people, they love the idea of working in sports, but maybe don't like the idea once they get involved of all the hours it takes to get involved. You know, you're not just doing a regular real job, but you're working the games as well. Now, most of us love that, but you have to really live your job to be good at sports.
I remember while working at General Sports, you also had a national executive leadership conference as well, where you leveraged sports professionals as well to kind of give a key insight into the industry. Do you have initiatives like that that are continuing for people that may be interested in the long term to pursue a career, to kind of give insight into what that looks like?
Say that again?
So I remember you had the National Executive
Conference,
Leadership
yeah.
Conference.
Yeah.
So similar to that initiative, are there ongoing initiatives for people that say might approach you for opportunities at the ballpark or general sports as a whole?
Yeah,
that kind of feed into that?
we have a new sports player representation agency in London. We're working on a sound company that does sound systems for stadiums and arenas and ballparks. We don't have the leadership conference anymore simply because that was more of a summer event. And with, of course, the ballpark being 24/7, usually in the summer, we had to do away with that. But yeah, so we have other opportunities. But Tej, I really appreciate being on your show. It's been wonderful. I've got a couple of different things I need to do right now, but I wish you continued success with your business. You're a great guy, and you know, again, look forward to continuing our relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for accommodating your time, and I appreciate you giving some time to us. Appreciate it.
Sounds good, Tej. You take care and keep continued good luck.
Yep, thank you. Hope you and your family stay safe as well during these times.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.